Okay, so what if the very fabric of our reality, gravity, dark matter, the expansion of the universe, what if it isn't fundamental at all? What if it's all just a projection, an output from some kind of deeper universal code? Today, we are going to dive into a wild new theory that suggests exactly that.
So let's start with a really big question. What if the biggest puzzles in all of cosmology aren't actually separate problems? What if they're just different symptoms of the very same underlying cause? I mean, this is the core idea we're exploring, and if it's even close to being right, it's an absolute game changer.
All right, so before we can get to this radical new answer, we first have to really appreciate the scale of the questions we're asking. Modern physics has accomplished some incredible things, but it really hits a wall when it comes up against three cosmic giants.
First up, there's gravity. It's the odd one out. The other forces, electromagnetism, the strong and weak nuclear forces, they all play by the rules of quantum mechanics. They have tiny particles that carry the force. But gravity is just different. Einstein told us it's not really a force, but the actual curvature of space-time. It's the stage the play happens on, not just an actor in it. And that makes it so difficult to unify with everything else.
Next, we've got a huge problem of missing stuff. When we look out at galaxies, we see they're spinning way too fast. I mean, the gravity from all the stars and gas we can see isn't nearly enough to hold them together. They should just fly apart. So the leading explanation is that there's this invisible substance providing all the extra gravity. We call it dark matter. It supposedly makes up a quarter of the entire universe, and yet we have absolutely no idea what it is.
And finally, as if that wasn't enough, the universe isn't just expanding, it's speeding up. The expansion is accelerating. There's some mysterious influence we call dark energy that seems to be pushing everything apart, like a cosmic anti-gravity. It's the biggest piece of the pie, the largest component of the universe. And again, we're totally clueless about what it is. So there you have it, three huge and seemingly separate problems.
But what if there's a single explanation for all of them? A new theoretical framework is proposing a really mind-bending solution, that the universe isn't fundamentally made of matter or energy, but of information.
This right here is the theory's core claim. It basically argues that gravity isn't a fundamental force at all. Nope. Instead, what we perceive as gravity is just a projection, almost like a shadow, cast by some kind of underlying universal structural code onto the fabric of space-time that we experience.
This means that gravity is what we'd call an emergent phenomenon. So think about it like this. The image on your computer screen. That image isn't fundamental, right? It emerges from a super complex pattern of ones and zeros, a digital code. In the exact same way, this theory is suggesting gravity isn't fundamental either. It emerges from a deeper informational reality.
Okay, so how could this possibly work? I know, it sounds incredibly abstract, almost like science fiction. But the theory actually uses a really powerful analogy to make the whole concept a lot clearer. The theory starts with this new fundamental layer to reality, and it's called the metafield. The best way to think of this is like the ultimate hard drive of the universe. It's not space-time itself, but a deeper fabric that holds all the information, that universal structural code from which our space-time emerges. And here's the absolute key. In this model, what creates gravity isn't mass, it's code density. A higher concentration of information in that metafield projects a stronger gravitational effect into our spacetime. This completely reframes what we think gravity actually is. Just look at this analogy with electromagnetism, which we understand pretty well. With electromagnetism, the source is electric charge. The thing that carries the field is the photon, and the effect is, well, electric and magnetic forces. Coded gravity proposes this beautiful parallel structure. The source isn't charge, it's code density. The field carrier isn't a photon, it's a hypothetical particle called a gravipolon, which is just an excitation of the code. And the effect is everything we know as gravity and the curvature of space-time. Okay, so we've got a totally new picture for gravity. That's cool. But how does this help us with dark matter and dark energy? Well, this is where the theory gets really elegant. It uses this one concept to explain two totally different seeming phenomena. So, it all comes down to how that code is arranged. Think of dark matter as these dense, concentrated clumps of information in the metafield. These clumps don't interact with light, so we can't see them, but their super high code density projects a ton of gravity, exactly what we need to hold those spinning galaxies together. Now, dark energy is basically the opposite. It's not a clump, but a very gentle universe-wide slope or gradient in the code.
This subtle, large-scale imbalance creates a constant outward push, which is what's accelerating the expansion of the universe.
And there you have it. One single idea providing answers to all three of those huge questions. Gravity is just the projection of a code, dark matter is a dense, lumpy region of that code, and dark energy is a large-scale gradient in that exact same code. Three huge mysteries, potentially unified by one single underlying structure.
So, let's just sit with this for a second. If a theory like this is even partially correct, the implications are just staggering. It really represents a fundamental shift in how we view the cosmos and, well, our place in it. For over a century, our deepest understanding of the universe has been rooted in geometry, the shape of space-time. This theory proposes we shift to an even more fundamental language, information. It suggests the universe isn't just described by information, it actually is information.
And that leads us to this incredibly profound conclusion. Everything we see, everything we experience, the planets, the stars, the very laws of physics that govern them, they might not be the fundamental reality. They could just be the output, the expression of a deeper operating system written in a universal code. And of course, that leaves us with one final, massive, and pretty much unavoidable question. If we are living inside a reality that's projected from an unimaginably complex code, who or what wrote it?